Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Jurnee Taylor, and here are some of the stories we're following for you right now. Bracing for protests in a possible indictment. Now at noon, we'll take you to the Manhattan courthouse, where authorities are preparing for what could be the first ever criminal charges against a former U.S. president. The Hogs are dancing into the Sweet 16, and for many, that means it's time for some new game day gear. Just ahead, we'll show you where one Arkansas family got game ready. Well, Keenan and Kel are teaming up again, and Mrs. Maisel is preparing to take a bow. Everything you need to know in today's entertainment news at 12:21. But first, of course, let's bring in meteorologist Nathan Scott. Day 2 of this week. Nathan, it is still chilly, but now we're adding rain. Make it stop, please.
It is a cool day out there, Jurnee, with the clouds and rain around, and that rain is really falling across northern sections of the viewing area. Here's the radar at this time, and you can clearly see the rain is primarily in North Arkansas. More spotty activity down to the south, but we'll give you here a radar tour around the region. We've got a steady light to moderate rain at times. If you're watching us in Batesville, Heber Springs, Van Buren County, Pope County, extending all through Clarksville. So to the north of the metro, that's where you can expect the steady rain to continue through the course of the afternoon. Meanwhile, from the metro down to the south, it's much lighter and it's much more spotty in coverage. Temperatures, though, they are really not budging much at all. It's 45 in Conway, 42 in Russellville, 43 in Hot Springs, 47 in the capital city, and 58 in Texarkana. Highs today only topping out into the upper 40s in North Arkansas, low to mid 50s here in Central Arkansas, and that may not happen until looks like as we go into sunset. Tonight, we're going to see those temperatures warm up, and tomorrow it will be much warmer out there. Also, much drier. I'll have more on that forecast, let you know how warm it's going to get coming up.
Our goal from the start of the season was to win a national championship, and then, of course, you know, some injuries and things happened, and it just felt good to get to the Sweet 16, but I mean, now it's kind of like our goal is still the same, so I don't think anybody here is like satisfied. We're going down to Vegas to get us 2 more and then, you know, try to get to Houston. So that's kind of our game plan, and I think everybody in the locker room has the same mindset.
All right, now, well, the countdown to the Sweet 16 is on, and it's hard to find someone here in Arkansas who's not excited. The Hogs are ready, the fans are buzzing, and we're gearing up for another big game happening right here on THV 11. It all comes after the Razorbacks' huge win over #1 Kansas. Now, if you thought you were cheering loud over the weekend, you should have heard the city of Jacksonville, or should we say Devoville. Devo Davis took over the game in the second half, helping the Hogs beat the top-seeded Kansas. And if you ask those in Jacksonville, pride can't even begin to describe their emotions seeing him play so well. Mayor Jeff Elmore says Devo's emotional post-game interview almost had him in tears as well, but not because he was sad, but because he's proud of the man Devo has turned into.
Sense of community pride that he has reinstilled. You know, everybody now thinks of them, Devo, as their son. I mean, your Jacksonville son, and you know, the town has come together and, you know, rooting for him, rooting for the Hogs, of course. I mean, there's so many Hog fans here, but you know, he's just taken it to a whole new level.
Now, you may be looking to score a Devo shirt or jersey ahead of Thursday's game, and you're not alone. Fans across the state are looking for some new Razorback gear, and as Ashley Godwin found out, that means business is picking up at Hogman's Game Day Superstore.
In the beginning, I don't think we played all that well, but we came back.
11-year-old Baron Ramsey watched the game Saturday night against Kansas, celebrating the final score as Hogs trumped the Jayhawks by 1 point.
I was really excited.
Now he will be headed to Vegas to see the Razorbacks in person.
Like wave that pointer.
Yeah. He and his grandma getting new gear to wear for the special occasion.
I'm getting this sweatshirt, and then I'm also getting this t-shirt.
Baron is just one of dozens of people who are coming in to get Razorback red.
Oh, it's been huge. I mean, even like we were talking about, you can just see the flow of people coming in here.
The store has seen more people than usual coming in. It's something they weren't seeing a lot of at the beginning of the season.
You know, I think a lot of Arkansas fans were down. You're not thinking that we were going to get very far or if we were even going to make it to the tournament.
Now Hogman's is coming out of the red and getting ready for the last dance.
Just know if we get that far, and hopefully we do, the day after the championship, we're going to have all kinds of gear in the stores. We'll open early because it's going to be history.
If the Hogs get to the next round, then they are Elite 8 bound, and Hogman's Game Day Superstore will have everything you need for that gear. In Little Rock, Ashley Godwin, THV 11 News.
Well, remember, the only place to watch the game live is right here on THV 11. Tip-off is set for 6:15 against the Yukon Huskies. We'll have live coverage from Las Vegas before and after the game as the Hogs hopefully advance to the Elite 8. New at noon, the lawyer suing Summit Utilities over alleged price gouging is now looking to drop the lawsuit. In a motion filed today, the plaintiff wants to dismiss the case to allow the Arkansas Public Service Commission to conduct its investigation. Last week, Attorney General Tim Griffin asked the commission to look into how much Summit paid for their natural gas and its billing practices. Law enforcement in New York City, Washington, D.C., and around the nation are watching to see if former President Trump is indicted and what reaction, if any, there will be to that. Jared Hill has the latest from New York City.
Barricades are in place outside the criminal courthouse in Lower Manhattan ahead of possible protests in support of Donald Trump. A New York grand jury is considering whether to indict the former president and current 2024 presidential candidate in connection to a hush money payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels back in 2016. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is leading the investigation into allegations Trump may have falsified records to hide the payment. Trump has denied any wrongdoing, and his Republican allies are calling on Bragg to submit testimony on what they call a politically motivated prosecutorial decision.
Some bookkeeping error from 7 years ago is misdemeanors now what they're going after. So it makes absolutely no sense.
These barricades are up in part because Mr. Trump himself predicted he would be arrested today and called on his supporters to protest.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Trump also called for protests ahead of the violent January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol.
I've never seen people so intent on doing so much damage like they did at the Capitol. It makes this protest and this group of people a greater threat than normal.
On Monday, the grand jury heard testimony from attorney Bob Costello, a longtime Trump ally. He was brought in to testify about the credibility of Michael Cohen, Trump's former fixer, who admitted to arranging the payment to Daniels. It's unclear when the grand jury will complete its work and reach a decision. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
And Trump blasted Cohen on social media today. He wrote, "In the history of our country, there cannot have been a more damaged or less credible witness at trial than fully disbarred lawyer and felon Michael Cohen." The Little Rock City Board is meeting tonight to discuss some important matters, one of which is focused on keeping people safe. They'll be considering a proposal to extend the day labor program aimed at reducing community violence. Another on the agenda is a contract to build mountain bike trails at Boyle Park. The city manager is seeking approval to enter into a contract with Affordable Trails Solution for this project. You can stay tuned for updates on what happens there. And Arkansas NAACP organizations are speaking out against new tax initiatives. The Arkansas State Conference and Pine Bluff branch are demanding an investigation into the Go Forward Public-Private Partnership and Association sales tax proposal. The NAACP says these taxes put an unfair burden on low-income taxpayers and undermine fair government practices. You can join us tonight at 5 and 6 when our Frederick Price will break down both sides of the issue. Well, spring break is here and Arkansans are enjoying time off, but emergency responders say it's also a time to remember safety. We have spring break safety tips in just 5 minutes. Now, Nathan, it's still kind of hard to tell if it's spring break or not. We need some warmth. It needs to warm up a little bit, right?
Jurnee, we're not the only ones dealing with this cool weather. I'm looking at the current temperature right now in Destin, Florida. It's 62 degrees. That's too cool to jump in the Gulf of Mexico, but they will warm up and so will we. Spring-like temperatures are on the way. Along with that, we got the potential of some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms later in the work week. More on that potential coming up.